Good morning and welcome to Unlocking Freedom in Nature and Art. We're so excited to see you today. And so welcome Karin and welcome Lori. Great seeing you guys.
Hello, hello. As always, we're happy to be here today, and we have such a fun virtual retreat this time. They are always fun, but this one, we want you to take it upon you to allow yourself to play, allow yourself to embrace and explore, and for your expression. There's so many different ways, and definitely we're tapping into the artistic aspect of creativity with Karin's class coming up during the VIP session. You want to tell us more about that, Karin?
Well, I'm excited to be here. Thanks for having me, of course. And I'm just going to have some fun splashing color and beautiful watercolor movement in things that we all love, which is our skies and our landscapes. So a couple of examples, just making clouds with color and landscape with some forms. So we're going to play with some techniques that we get to watch the watercolor. Can you see that in the light? Run and move and do what it does, which is pretty magical. And a very simple palette. We've got it all here ready just to splash color and make it fun and easy to learn to love the joy of watercolor.
Wonderful.
Awesome.
I'm excited.
I don't think people realize it's such an honor to have you, Karin. I mean, she's a master artist. She's done this for over 45 years, right? Owns her own galleries. She teaches all the time. And for $47, you can sign up in the VIP, you can invite a guest, and you get the recordings. I mean, so you can rewatch it. So even if you don't have a watercolor set today, you can watch us live, ask questions, and take notes, and then go back or use color crayons or something, to kind of sketch it out, right? Or colored pencils or anything. But then you can get your watercolors and redo it again and again. This is such a deal for them because Karin doesn't charge this low a price ever. So this is amazing. So, and it's fun. It's relaxing. We are here today to share some different ideas to help you de-stress, get rid of that anxiety, or when you're going through just so many different things, sometimes you need to unwind. And the things that we're helping you with today are letting you to have that courage to just step up and have fun.
And I think it's wonderful that it is being recorded because you can come back to it at your own leisure time, your private time, and come in and out of the information I'm going to share about painting skies and just make it your own. And well, watercolor is a great escape. It moves, it's beautiful, it's flowing, and that's a nice thing in life. So I'm excited to share it.
Yes, we're excited to have this resource with us. Like Tammy said, Karin is in California. She does this full time. She's living her passion and purpose, and other people are benefiting from her gift and talent that she shares. And she's been so graceful with us and so nice and generous. She's here today dedicating this time for you. So again, check out that VIP session. It's in the link everywhere in our page, Power of Art and Nature. Right now, if you're watching this, maybe step out a little bit, and I'm going to show the slide where you can right now, pretty soon when I start my part, where you can scan the QR code, submit your $47 payment for you to get a class. Look at her picture again, Karin. I cannot believe that we are going to get out of your session. Let me see that.
Well, and we will have a break between 10 and 10:30 that they can sign up there too.
So we have some
look at that beautiful sky, and to know I have some
mountains.
And knowing that I have myself some anxiety around the outcome, and like our graphic promotional material have expressed, do not worry about the outcome. Just embrace the power of the journey and the fun of the journey. And Karin, I know that she will help you, kind of holding your hand to just enjoy the process. It doesn't matter how it's going to look at the end.
Yes. Well, my classes are always called The Joy of Watercolor, and that's what's here today. So there you are.
Wonderful.
Yeah,
that's awesome. So
okay, well, I will get back to you. I'll be watching and look forward to interacting with you again soon.
Yay.
now.
Bye,
Okay.
That's
Karin. See
awesome.
you
Thanks,
soon.
Corinne. And if you have questions, be sure to ask while we're going along here. So, or we'll put them in the comments and we will get back to you. So, and so today we have so many different things to talk about. And Lori's going to go first. And then I'm going to go and chime in too. So.
Wonderful. So, like we have said, today's class is about rediscovering. And I say this rediscovering because we have this innate ability to be creative. And I want you to just think back and remember with me. I like to talk about a lot of metaphors and a lot of mental expeditions and mental voyages, mental journeys. And I want you to think back when you were a little kid, when you had your first set of crayons, when you were holding that first pair of scissors, and how many of you did the infamous bang cutting, cutting your own bangs, wanting to be creative and do the same as your hairstylist, and wanting to cut some things, or wanting to cut and paste or paint, or even tracing something on the soil or on the sand if you were visiting a beach. Just allow yourself to relax, to receive this information that I'm going to share with you. And I have put so much thought into this because it is something that is an issue for me. It is an issue for me. We have two artists here, Tammy and Karin, and they're so compassionate and they're so loving that they're like, come on, Lori, or everyone watching, you are all creative. And I just want to give thanks because of that encouragement I get from Tammy a lot. While my creativity might not manifest or showcase in the form or in the way like Tammy's does, which is amazing, and she creates masterpieces, my creativity and everybody else's watching might be different. It's going to look different for all of us. And I am getting ready to share some slides so that everybody knows. And here it is, the slide that I promised you. If you are watching, take a few minutes, a few seconds to scan that QR code you're going to see here. And maybe my little blue ball is going to go around this QR code. Grab
And
your
I
phone.
just put it in the link in the comments as well.
Oh, in the comments of this broadcast. Okay. So look at this. Oh, there you go. I see it now. I see the link in the comments. So if you're watching this live, if you're watching this recorded, you might not be able to sign up anymore because you are going to be too late. But maybe it will be for sale or something. Anyways, we have you covered. We will take care of you. And this presentation, I went ahead and entitled it Unlock Your Creative Nature. I want you to embrace, explore, and express yourself. Again, we all have different ways of expressing. And what we're going to cover is different types of creativity. And me first, me included, I'm guilty as charged. And we're going to discuss, or I would like to share with you, why is it that judgment and self-doubt are blocking our creativity, our creative growth, and even our self-expression. And I want to share with you 3 simple steps to overcome those blocks. And I want to finish with 3 powerful questions to help you discover your creative strengths. Guys, this is so important because I want you to just think about, I hope you're not thinking, I'm not creative at all. Oh my goodness, this class is not for me. This little virtual retreat is not for me. Yes, it is. It is for you. I want you to restore that peace. I want you, peace as in peaceful, peace of mind, right? And I like this quote that I found by one of, and there's a mistake already in my slide, but it says,
okay.
You know what I mean, right? It says, one of my favorite speakers, he's so inspiring and he's always encouraging. And he has a love for women, and he knows what women struggle with right now, self-doubt and thinking we're not enough. And I want you to look at this. The desire to create is one of the deepest yearnings of the human soul. So what does that tell you? We yearn to be creative. We want to. We have that desire. No matter our talents, education, backgrounds, or abilities, we each have an inherent wish to create something that did not exist before. Creation brings satisfaction and fulfillment. Oh my goodness, it does. I promise you. When I'm sure, Tammy, how was it for you when you finished your book, writing your book?
Oh, it felt great. You know, when you get done with a piece, or it's like I just finished those two trees at the dentist office, you know, that I did. And it's always so rewarding to see that
Is
done,
that
you know. It's like, yes, I did it. You know, it's like no matter what you do, even if you've done it a million times, or if it's something new, when you finish something and it turns out, you know, it's awesome. And even if it doesn't, it's the journey. If it wasn't fun creating it, then why? You know, it's like I did have fun writing my book. So
that will be torture, right? It will be
yeah.
torture instead of creating and enjoying. And sometimes it can be frustrating when some things are not turning the way you want, etc. As long as you know your intention and purpose with what the result will be or the fruits of that will be, that process, it's just amazing. So like Tammy just said, creation brings satisfaction and fulfillment. We develop ourselves and others when we take organized matter into our hands and mold it into something of beauty. And in this same presentation and speaking opportunity, this gentleman said that you may think you don't have talents, but that is a false assumption. For we all have talents and gifts, every one of us. The bounds of creativity extend far beyond the limits of a canvas or a sheet of paper and do not require a brush, a pen, or the keys of a piano. So guys, of course, we're going to tap into, painting today and needing to have a brush for this artistic, creative part of it or portion of life or talent. But no, it doesn't limit to that. Just planting a seed on the ground, just like, I don't know, creating and organize. We all have a messy drawer, a catch-it-all drawer. When you take everything out of it and reorganize it, bada bing, bada boom, you have made something new. Creation means bringing into existence something that did not exist before, colorful gardens, harmonious homes, family, memories, flowing laughter, and way more. So I want you to think about those things, and I want you to think about ways that you are creative, not the way that all these people here presenting today are creative. Oh no, I'm not like Tammy. Oh no, I'm not like Lori. I haven't written a book. Oh no, I'm not like Karin. No, 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 no. I want you to type in the comments, whether you're watching this replay or here with us live. I want you to take a few minutes in silence. We don't have music in the background today, right, Tammy? But it's okay. Silence is beautiful too. Type what is it that you are such an expert at. Type something that people tell you, but you're kind of like, because you're shy or you're super modest and you're thinking like you're very humble, you're like, oh no. But what is it that you recognize yourself that you have in creative talent? Or what is it that people are usually pointing out that you haven't, even if that's smiling, listening? I want to see.
And it doesn't matter what age and you are. And what I see and hear a lot, Lori, and I know you probably have as well, is a lot of times parents tell their teenagers, especially when they're thinking about careers, you need to look for something that pays a lot. Or you need to go to school for this or that. But they never mention the talents to get the kids to use their talents and gifts that they have or something they love. And if the parents don't get, as a parent, if you don't give your kids the opportunity to explore, then they grow up not exploring either. So, it's like it's like I always say you need to teach them, let kids do so many different things, paint, draw, play in the mud, fish, whatever. Even if you're not into it, find out if they're into it. It's like I love sports, and my girls did not like soccer, but they loved ballet, you know? So and that was fine, but they liked hiking. You find what you do things together that are creative, but that's how you find those creative niches. Instead of, but when we put up those, I don't know if you've gone to graduation ceremonies and stuff, and I'm sure you have, but it's like if the person graduating doesn't say, I'm going to such and such a college, people look down on them. And why is that? Why can't they take a year to explore their own gifts and talents without having to go to a college? Colleges are great, especially if you're going to become an engineer or a doctor and stuff. But I always say, if you can volunteer or work part-time in that field to make sure it's what you really want, do that first. Don't, it's like time's short. Time is so precious. I can't remember who it was, if it was Steve Jobs or was saying, to go and take those first several years to just explore when you graduate, to, find out who you are and what gifts and talents you have. So I love the quote you just shared.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And I want to express that whether that's in college, whether that's with a mentor, because a lot of people are like, not until I met so-and-so is that I got inspired to do this or that. I want you to understand that there are different types of creativity. One of them is expressive creativity. That's drawing, that is music, poetry, journaling, expressing emotion and imagination. I will even include their dancing because, oh my goodness, I just love to see the ballerinas that do the creative movement and they express their feelings, and you can feel their heart with movement. There's also innovative creativity, which that is the problem solving. All these coaches and consultants that are out there. Innovative creativity is just like, okay, you have a problem, you present a solution, or inventors, right? A lot of people that invent new machines, devices, systems. And that's a way of creativity. Another one is interpersonal creativity. There's so many people that are so friendly and that are good listeners. Like I said earlier, like even if you're a good listener, okay, that is a talent. That is a creative talent, because then you're so interested in that other person that you think of ways to make them feel happy and heard and validated. And then there's the part of the interpersonal creativity is also storytelling and humor and connecting and inspiring others. And there's this strategic creativity. That's the planners, event planners, the wedding coordinators, etc. And like I said, like the people that go and organize your space, because you don't know where to start, and then they help you organize your walk-in closet or your pantry and your cabinets. I know some of those, and I admire them because it's like, how do you even start? You walk in there and then they do magic. And then I love the before and after pictures. And I have that too. I like to tap into that a lot. Having all the kids that I had, I always needed to come up with creative solutions for space. And I want you to think of this question. Which of these feels most natural to you? The expressive creativity, the innovative creativity, the interpersonal creativity, or the strategic creativity? And I don't know, Tammy, are you able to see the answers today and comments? Because my Facebook here is acting up today. So I'm trying to solve it so I can reply and for this to be an interactive experience.
I know I haven't really seen too many, so I apologize. I see ours though.
Awesome.
Today.
Okay.
So, but that's it. So
hopefully you're all here and you're commenting. Please feel free to comment, because
and if we don't comment back, just realize we will comment later.
Oh yeah.
We apologize. Sometimes we just never know with Facebook Live what it's going to do.
Yeah. So I think the ones that feel most natural to me is strategic creativity. Again, for time management, for organizing my space. and expressive creativity. Thank goodness I was encouraged by a great coach and mentor to write my book, like the same one that encouraged Tammy. And I write in my journal and I write articles. So that is the one that feels most natural to me. So we're excited to see your answers. And as they come in, we'll be responding. But I want to move on to why judgment blocks our creativity. I want to say that is a mystery to me. There's two answers or a few answers. My mom always encouraged me to be creative. And sometimes she pulls out some things she has in her files and things like that. And I'm like, oh, I drew that little butterfly and things like that. And I look at myself like as a little girl wanting to express myself in little birthday cards and things like that I created for my mom. And she always encouraged me. And I'm very grateful for that. So
That's awesome.
I am trying to find out, Tammy, what is it that is blocking me right now? What, like in from my childhood, feeling the encouragement from my mom. I think I know. See, it's not until you pause to think, what is it that is blocking me? Is it my own judgments? Is it somebody else's judgments? So many people believe they're not creative due to judgment from others or self-inflicted, either internal or external. It could be criticism from one of those teachers that you had growing up. Tammy has shared her
from
experience.
a family members, but then at the same time, you might have somebody that was encouraging. So
yes. And then we also compare, which is detrimental, and fear of not being good enough, and also perfectionism. And I have confessions to make here coming up. I'm going to show you and share with you certain things that I did to get out of that mode this week, knowing that I was going to present and share with you. I wanted to live my own experience, and you'll see pretty soon. I think I'm very, very pleased with myself because it's really, really doing something, is releasing and is relaxing of having this expectation and worrying more about the outcome rather than the journey.
Well, think of it this way, Lori, how you and I, when I started this Facebook Live, when we started, I was not the Kira, but we were like, whatever, we're going to have fun.
We had that desire of expression, right? We was like, we're passionate about freedom of, from us
inspiring
ourselves.
others, encouraging and helping them get through each day. That's what we want.
And your passion of nature is not going to your fear of making a perfect whatever it is, podcast, event, or whatever, is not stopping you, because your desire or our desire or purpose and intention of inspiring others and express our love and passion is bigger than our fear. So that's why we need courage. Creativity requires courage, and like a muscle, it gets stronger when it's being used or exercised or challenged, right? So now I want you to think about how is it that you can just let go, release, and resolve those blockages. I want you to reframe failure. I want you to see, John Maxwell has this book that is amazing called Failing Forward. I want you to see failure as a sign of trying something new. Shift from I failed to I'm learning. I'm going to get better at this if you liked it enough, right? Because if you didn't like it enough, I tried it, it's not my thing. But if you love it and you're like, oh, I got to get better at this, keep it going. So reframe that failure, okay? That's one of the ways that we can release those blockages around creativity. And then you can make space for playing. Like I said, I want you to go back to kindergarten or to your first time you had crayons, the first time you drew something in the sand on the soil, the first time you planted that little seed. I want you to make space for play. And I remember Miss Frizzle from the books, The Magic School Bus, when she used to say, get messy, make mistakes, because chocolate chips were a failed experiment. And today we enjoy chocolate chips. And I can tell you many, many, many failures that are now we're consuming them of products. And another one, and the last one is start small and share. Feedback is a gift. And sometimes we feel shame if somebody tells you, oh, you could have improved on this, or maybe you can express this way, or maybe you can articulate this way, or maybe you needed a little shadow. When my daughter was in ballet class, the teacher said, we're going to correct your daughter because that's how we create great ballerinas. So feedback is a gift. Let's take that feedback from somebody else, as long as it's positive, as long as it's encouraging.
Who's the right person to give you the feedback?
It's very, I knew you were going to jump in here,
Well,
Tammy.
sometimes there's, it's like there's certain people I would never ask for feedback from. And that's not because they're not honest. It's because they're always negative.
And they're not doing what you're doing, right?
And everything. And those are people I don't spend time with anyway. But find somebody who's positive, who's authentic, who's honest, but kind.
And kind. And I said that somebody that has done it, and not necessarily because somebody that is not an artist can give you maybe, feedback from your art, but it's somebody that has great intentions, that is part of your team and is on your side, it's rooting for you. And then somebody that maybe is not accomplishing what you're accomplishing, but have accomplished something in life, especially mastering happiness, mastering joy, and mastering a different skill than you, but that you trust that source. So now like I said, being creative requires courage. And I want to share with you my journey this week. Look at that. To give a little bit of a background, I wanted to experience with watercolor myself, knowing that Karin is going to, it's something that is totally, totally separate and different than a beautiful view or the sky that we're going to paint today. But I am tuning in to a channel and a resource that is allowing people to experience therapy or healing, the healing process of pain or stress with art and with literally scribbles and doodles. So this is just fascinating. When I found this resource, I found a resource that it's basically like coaching with art. And I started doing one of the exercises they encourage you to do, and it involved definitely watercolor. And it's just an exercise where you dilute a heavy feeling that is getting in the way of you living life more peaceful and calm. And I chose the word stress. I chose the word stress because last week, it was kind of stressful for me and my family. And I'm like, oh, it's just the perfect exercise, the perfect week for me to dilute stress, literally. When you dilute something, the liquid or the water-based liquid that you put, it just dissolves and it can even disappear. It can even disappear. And it's there. It's still there. There's traces of it there. But if you dilute it, it's going to be less intense, less invasive. And I want you to look at what I did. And I'm going to share with you that I chose the word stress, like I said, to as my word that I wanted to dilute. And then I covered it. I diluted it with water, and I wrote the word peace. So I'm going to go back because I share a little bit more of the process here in the video. Let me go back. I'm sorry, you guys. But I want to share with you how was that process. I'm going to share that slide. So see, I started spreading the word stress with water, diluting it literally. And I started coloring blotches of all these other colors. The only thing you needed was washi tape or painter's tape to make like a frame around the paper. Your watercolors, paintbrushes, pick a word that is just getting in the way of your happiness right now or living a relaxed life. And this was my final result. Or was it my final? Oh, Karin is clapping and Tammy is clapping. So this was a very therapeutic exercise. It kind of sounds silly. It kind of sounds childish, but this is the part like allow yourself to play, right? And then I'm like, I don't want to show this. This is kind of embarrassing. I need to do another one before I teach the class. You know what? I didn't have the time. And
It
I
reminds me
chose,
of Nika with her coloring pages that she does for
yes,
people.
yes. And I let go of my own judges and I said, this was my first attempt. And look at what I'm doing now. I traced the word peace, and now I'm tracing around the blotches of paint and writing more words that bring me peace and solace and kind of dissolve stress even more. So I am going to continue tracing and tracing and tracing the little blotches of paint and continue writing words that are opposite to stress, where I can feel like different than stress, than that word, that heavy, sometimes invasive feeling. And I want to continue working on this ongoing little masterpiece that I created. So I just wanted to share this with you. And I have a few more things to say as part of the presentation, but I want to share with you the fact that I loved the process. I gave myself enough time to not rush into it. And when I thought of showing it to you, to the world, I let go of my judgments to just have fun with it. And
may I
it
say
was
it's
a great
beautiful
experience.
and very transparent. And transparency is a lovely thing in watercolor, and it's a part of being transparent to your soul. You have a very nice touch, and I think that's a blessing and a real gift. So thanks for sharing your transparency with us.
Oh my goodness, you're welcome. It's super hard. It's hard. But what do you guys feel? How about you? What are you going to invite yourself to do? Allow yourself to do today, this week? Do you have a little messy drawer and you want to create? Do you have your t-shirt drawer for that matter? And then I know there's Marie Kondo. Marie Kondo teaches a new method, to organize spaces and taking all your t-shirts out and then deciding what you want to keep, what haven't you worn in a long time. And that
The
is
wardrobe consultation. I've done that for clients before. Doesn't
there you
mean that
go.
my closet isn't a mess at the moment. Um, I need somebody to kind I need more time.
You need somebody to Marie Kondo your space, right? Because we're
Right. I know how to
creators.
do it, and what's funny is when you were talking about people asking somebody, make sure you're willing to get the answer. It's kind of like I've had people say, what do you think of what I wear? Had their outfit or something. And it's like, at first I would say, oh, I would tell them the truth in a kind way. Well, this color, or maybe if you had a different color, or these pants, if they were straight legged instead of peg leg or something. But then I found it's like, no, unless you pay me, then I'll tell you honestly, because a lot of times people really don't want. So you do have to watch what you say back when you're the person being asked your opinion. So
No, definitely, definitely. There's the creating the systems, right? Those are the consultant, the strategic creativity, where you're like, hey, do you like what I do? Like Karin, she teaches and she shares her talent and gift for people that want to develop their talent. And there's a price for that, right? There's a cost, but the value is immense. I mean, the value is immense. What you're doing for the dental office, Tammy, I mean, I know is amazing. So
well,
that
it's all those little things. It's the little things and what's funny is Corinne and I were talking about this last night when you're bringing this up, is how creative we all are when you start looking at stuff. It's like I see your creativity, Lori, in Canva and creating content. You are more creative than you even imagine. And a lot of times it's just we have this fear. And a lot of times one negative remark will cancel. It's like it cancels out 10 positive remarks. which is really sad. And that's why we always encourage each and every person to be around positive people, because we know those negative comments can hurt worse than anything.
Yes, definitely. So I want you guys watching from home to think about this, oh, thank you so much, Pam. Pam is watching live. Awesome. And I think Maritza and there's certain people that have joined. Thank you so much for joining. And let us know. Let us know, how is it that you have been creative or are creative? And Pam said about my work, nice. Thank you.
And Pam is very creative too. So, and we're so glad to see her because she just had heart surgery yesterday. So,
Oh my goodness.
so it's amazing that she's here. She had a stent or whatever, but she creates one of the first things she created for me was this. She took a jar and she put this burlap cloth around to make a really nice vase and a flower arrangement for me. And I just love it, but she does things in other creative ways.
So here are Tammy, very good, Pam, and then Maritza is watching too. She's my dear mom. She had heart surgery this last week too. That added to my stress somehow because I love her. I was worrying about her and
We
praying
have the
a lot
two
for her.
people with heart surgery
with us today.
Welcome.
Yeah. So I want to finish with two things, very important reflection questions for you. And then a quote and a video from this speaker that I love that spoke on creativity. It's very insightful. And I want you to think about these questions. What do I do that makes me lose track of time? Okay. This question is for people that don't think they're creative at all, don't think they have a talent. But if you will reflect and ponder and think about what is it that you do when you lose track of time. Is something with your hands, is something that you love and are so passionate about that you're like, oh my goodness, I lost track of time. Perhaps that is something that is speaking up and saying, coming to the surface and saying, I can do more of this if it gives me so much happiness, and even monetize it. Who knows? But that's not the more important thing. But think about that. And many people that crochet, I say, do you sell it? And they're like, no, because otherwise it will not be fun. And I totally get that. People that crochet because they love it and because they want to give it away as gifts for loved ones. It's rare the persons and they're out there, and if they do that for money, great. But for the most part, like 90% of the people that crochet, and I ask, do you sell it? They say no, because there's no money that can pay that that art or that craft.
I always laugh because my sister does quilts, these just huge, beautiful quilts. And yeah, and she does it just as a release, a stress release.
Yeah. And otherwise, you don't want it to turn into something that is stressful. Yeah.
And that's one of the things, Karin and we were talking about, that is like, when we even are commissioned to do a piece or create a piece or teach, we want it to be fun, because if it's not fun, we don't want to do it. I always allow myself extra time. Sometimes for businesses, like with the dentist office, I had to have it done a certain amount of time because he's only open certain days. And I've worked for orthodontists and dentist office before. So you have to go in after hours or when they're closed down, and they can only be closed so much time. So there's a rush for that. And to be honest, it's not as much fun as when you can take your time.
Yeah. I know also a jingle writer. He writes jingle for radio stations around the world. And I remember him saying that when there's, time frames that he needs to turn in a jingle, that's when it's
well, and I was one of those
stressful
kids, when they would time lessons in school, like you only have so many minutes to complete this test or do this, or I would freeze because just the idea that I had to do it. And if I wasn't timed, I could do it like in 5 minutes, or really quick. But it's when somebody I don't know why, it's just like that pressure in my mind. So
Yes, yes, definitely. And when it's for a job or a business, definitely you feel the pressure because you need to deliver. Even like the people that love to arrange flowers, if they open a flower shop, they need to get it done by a certain time. And I know they open the flower shop because they have that passion. So there, that's a whole different topic. But take your time, and what is it that you do in your free time? What is it? The other question is like the one I asked already, what have others complimented you on that you've dismissed, that you have, that you don't see in yourself? Sometimes other people can see more of us, our gifts and talents, and maybe somebody else have told you, you are good at this, you have a great talent, and maybe you want to tap into that. And number three, if you weren't afraid of being judged, what would you love to create? What would you love to create if you were not afraid of judgment? Okay, like I said, it's sometimes, if you're not doing anything, that's when you're not going to be judged. But if you're doing something good and something that is your passion, of course, all opinions are going to come and like rain. But I want you to think about creativity. It's not a rare gift that only a few people are just bestowed upon. It is all within us, whether it's parenting, problem solving, or how you express yourself. Your creativity, that thing that is unique to you, matters. So I want to encourage you, before I show the little video that we're going to show before we conclude this part, or the times go back to Tammy, I want you to try this week. Try something new, even if it's for 10 minutes. No pressure, just joy and a playful disposition. Write a haiku, or arrange flowers, or redesign a space, whatever brings you alive and gives you energy and desire to just do that, more of that.
It's just learning something new. It's kind of like a week or two ago, my grandson said, "Hey, Grandma, can I learn to do what you do? I want to learn and work with you." I'm like, "Of course, I love being able to help and encourage people in different ways to create." So
Wonderful. Look at this one, this little 30-second videos portion, and then I'm done.
Did not exist before. Everyone can create. You don't need money, position, or influence in order to create something of substance or beauty. You might say, I'm not the creative type. If that is how you feel, think again. And remember that you are spirit daughters of the most creative being in the universe. Isn't it remarkable to think that your very spirits are fashioned by an endlessly creative and eternally compassionate God? Think about it. Your spirit body is a masterpiece, created with a beauty, function, and capacity beyond imagination.
Well, this is my
awesome.
Message. And
well, my message actually kind of just goes right along with what Lori's talking about here. Is, have you taken the time and the courage to learn something new? It's like so many people are afraid to paint a wall. They're like, we can only have white walls. Well, have you ever gone to like Home Depot or Lowe's or Sherwin-Williams and seen how many whites there are? There's over 100. Do not be afraid. And if you go with a warm color like a cream, then you won't go wrong. Right? And what I always advise people, when you're painting a wall, pick out 3 colors that you enjoy and go get little samples and then paint them on different places in the wall that and see how the light hits it. Because depending on how the light hits, depends on how that color looks. because one of my wall colors might look great in my house because of the lighting, but it might look horrible in somebody else's house, you know? So you have to do that several different times. And that's how I choose my colors is I go and I paint my little things on my walls when I'm doing a wall color. I don't know about you, Karin. Have you done that before? Karin has no voice.
Yes, indeed. But I was just thinking about one rule of thumb in design is that when you find your dominant favorite color, about 60% of your house should be that. And then find a support color for about 30%, whether it's teal or, soft, warm beiges or warm
Yes,
red.
keeping the same tones, the
Yeah,
family.
same tone. And then 10% an accent color. So you get three colors, your base, your secondary support color, and then the accent color. And it's kind of fun to play them
and but keep your trim bases all the same.
Yeah, your trim base is the
Throughout
same.
the house, so it all ties together. So.
Right.
But yeah, and that's what people forget. And the thing is what is the worst thing that happens when you paint a wall that you decide you don't like the color?
Yeah, repaint.
You repaint it. It's like so many times people were so afraid, but I'm like, what's the worst? It might cost you the time and the paint to repaint it. Sad to say, but it's like the dentist office down there a couple of weeks ago. They had painted it this one color, and then somebody came into the office and said, I don't like that color. But they had already chose this and the whole thing was done. And started repainting. And then they called me in. And I'm like, what's going on? Why did you go with this color and aren't keeping this color, that you had chose? And so they reversed, went back, but they were willing to change it to that inviting color because they want everybody to feel warm and welcoming. So, but a lot of times we're so afraid of change. We're so afraid to even start on a picture or a painting or a range of flowers. There's so many little things, and people are afraid to even go on hikes or walks. They're like, well, gosh, what if I trip and fall? Or what if I get lost? Let's take a friend. But or even I hear it all the time. I'm afraid to plant. It's like replant a flower or start a little garden or start little veggies because you can put a little tomato plant out on your patio. It's like, don't be afraid. Have that courage and realize this is what I always do. I always think about, okay, what is the worst thing that can happen if I do this, right? And it doesn't work. It's kind of like the paint color. Then all I have to do is redo the color. If the plant doesn't grow, it's like I bought a pineapple plant. You guys are so proud. You should be proud of me because I do not do well with indoor plants usually. Mm-hmm. And so, but I saw this pineapple and I was like, oh, it's so cute. So I brought it home. So we'll see how it does. I know I should have had it here to share. I'll have to share a picture later. But, it's like life is a challenge. And whenever you're even planting seeds and stuff, my thought is, okay, I'm hoping they grow. If they don't, I'll go buy a plant later. But if I can grow them by seed and because I use organic seeds and take seeds from my veggies from the year before and stuff. If they don't grow, I'll just get a new one. If that doesn't grow, I'll just buy the vegetable from the store. It's not life altering, but if it grows, then it's more rewarding because then, like Lori saw, all I have to do is go to my garden and pick daily, so it's nice. And there's certain things that grow really well. And like Karin and I were talking about, it's like she had some trees, it was flowering crab apples, right, Karin? That died on her. And I was telling her, I'm like, hey, I lost an apple tree last year and one of my huge plum trees of 20 years. And so I'm gonna have to replant. But that's okay. And what people don't realize is farmers go through this all the time where they lose trees to blights or frost or different things that in the environment that we can't control everything. We aren't in control. It's kind of like when we plan stuff a lot of times and we, we'll write down all this, well, this, we're going to do this and then things are thrown in there. And we can't control that. And you just have to like, okay, that's fine. And be willing to change. Does that make sense? Be willing to move with what is going on. And then kind of going back to what Lori was saying, when you have so many things, it's kind of like I'm working. This time of year is my busy time of year. So I'm trying to put my garden in, getting it all ready and prepped because you have to do a lot of prep work. I did get my onions in. And then trying to get my landscaping in for the yard for all my flowers. And then you throw in 3 jobs basically and keep your house and be on here. It's time consuming. And then people are like, how do you do it? I have a list, to be honest. I prioritize, okay, this needs done, this needs done, and this needs that. But like yesterday, I went to town just to get staples, to do some prep work on the pieces. It took me 2 hours. Well, that threw a delay in everything. But I didn't sweat it. I just like, okay, we'll just change that a little bit and we'll go with a new day, a new list, and it'll all work out. And which it did. It's like I realized that I could put my garden off a little bit longer. So this is a funny story I wanted to share with you guys. I don't know if anybody's ever had this happen. So it was a few years ago. I had planted my onions and I think my broccoli and cabbage. And I had on my onions, I had put this little covers on and everything. Well, I went out there the next day and every one of my Walla Walla sweets was out of the ground. I'm like, what? There's no way birds could get in there. And I was like, this is crazy. Is somebody coming over in my garden's fenced? And it has a 10-foot fence around it. And these are in boxes. And so it's like, okay, how in the world does somebody or something get in here to do this? So I replanted all these onions. And we're talking like 50 to 100 onions, right? So I replanted them all and put the covers back on, which these are tight when you put those hoops over them and stuff, so nothing could get in. The next day I come back down and they're all out of the ground again. And I'm like, what is going on? Alien spaceship, what is going on? I've never seen. So I started looking. I looked up on the internet. I'm like, what in the world? And I found something that was interesting. They said night crawlers. And sure enough, when I dug underneath those onions, it was full of night crawlers and worms. The night crawlers don't like the onions, and so they would pull them out. Isn't that crazy? So, so what I did, what I did? I moved the onions to a different place.
So you found a challenge and then you wanted to find a solution. You wanted to be strategic. But what are those? What are the night crawlers?
Are big worms.
Okay.
That come out from rain puddles and stuff.
Oh, okay.
Well, for some reason, that bed, which is beans and soil, is very healthy, the night crawlers did not like the smell of the onions, so they were pulling them out. And I had never, ever in my lifetime had heard of that, but so it made me like realize, okay, I have to plant something in that bed, which ended up being peppers, I think that year, that they would like. And so I have just one bed that's just for onions that I just add compost and stuff every year. But, I learned I had to be creative. It's like I wasn't going to sit there and fight these night crawlers daily.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. No kidding. So it's just amazing when you go to Tammy's garden, and maybe we can also share the video of the retreat coming up in July in her beautiful space. I promise you, I kid you not, you walk into her property and her place and you think you are in a nature museum, in a nature reserve. And inside of her house, you would think you're walking into a gallery, a museum gallery, because her art is displayed in every corner and is just so amazing. So
thank you so much.
yeah, I'm glad you were able to figure out the creepy crawlers or night crawlers.
Well, my goal for my place has always, and I do a lot of creating, which I'm sure everybody does, is that when somebody comes to my place, I want you to feel comfortable. I want you to feel encouraged, and I want you to feel inspired and at peace. I want you just to relax, feel like you're at home, and enjoy yourself, just with the atmosphere here. And that's how I like to live. I like to make my space to where I feel relaxed. And so it's like, if you guys have any questions, be sure to ask those. We're here. I'm here, and I'd be happy to answer any questions. It's like I said, and like Karin was saying, it's like paint an accent wall. If you don't like it, you can repaint it. Add some flowers, bring that outdoors, indoors, and your indoors will feel more relaxed. Plants, the music you listen to. There's so many ways to be creative. And it helps with anxiety, and it helps with de-stressing. So there was one other thing, and it's kind of like I posted it in the thing in our Power of Art and Nature, this post today. You are never too old to set another goal or dream a new dream. So many times we get so wrapped up in just doing one thing, but you don't have to. You can, I look back at what was Colonel Sanders, or wasn't he like 55 or 60 when he designed the Kentucky Fried Chicken, or, you look back at these people, how old they were when they were doing things, so always be willing to dream a new dream. Go on a vacation in a new spot, or a little simple thing. A lot of times when I go to a restaurant, I have this habit of ordering the same thing if it's the same restaurant. And so my challenge to myself is at least every other time to order
something new. Absolutely. There's our comfort, foods, but it's kind of frustrating when then you're like, that wasn't the best, but then not to order it again, and then try something new. Tammy, should we conclude this portion showing the North Idaho I have the video ready for the North Idaho retreat, so what we're talking about when we are talking about Tammy's space. That's where we would retreat. That's where we would have a great time creating memories, going through experiences for us to discover, experience each other, and transform. Here we go. Let me just go all the way back. Let me know if you can hear the fun music.
Tammy? So today we're getting ready to take an adventure. We're going to go up to Roanoke Lake and some Northern Lights. So are you ready?
Yes, I love water. You know I'm ready for water anytime.
Let's go see what we can find today.
Yay! So those are the dates. And I realize that's not the final video we have, but it's just another video we have. There's a
Hey, that's okay. So, and you can always go to our website and see videos there, and we'll be posting more of that later. And Pam lives up here, so she knows how beautiful it is out on our lakes and in our area. So this is a very rewarding place and relaxing place because we have so many things to do here. So
for the first retreat, for the first time that we went on our getaway, there's always going to be some conflict. My daughter was getting ready to have her baby. There was XYZ excuses or reasons, like legit reasons, not to just say excuse, but legit reasons not to do something or wait for another time when this gets better, when this gets better. No, I was committed and I wanted to be there. But my hat as a mother, my hat as a mother for adult children and children that are still at home, sometimes it's like at that role, I'm like, oh my goodness, we are torn into different directions. I had a wise friend to tell me, Lori, just go. That's your commitment and you're going to have a great time and you need it and you're going to love it. And that is exactly what happened. I loved it. And that's happened to me when I have decided to go to Costa Rica, to go to the UK, for my improvement, for my personal growth and professional growth. Guys, ladies and gentlemen, you have to do that. You have to, especially in this group of more than 500 people. We have heart-centered people that give, and then they second guess to fill up their own cup. And we need to just stop and smell the roses. And I promise you, you're going to stop and smell more than roses because Tammy has, like she says, a lot of vegetables in her garden. And that's what I included in the final edited video. I included more of her beautiful, colorful vegetables and fruits. And oh my goodness, it's going to be a great experience. And depending on the night, she is even going to have a sit to watch the Northern Lights.
If there is, we never know because the Northern Lights do come out quite often and they are beautiful if you get a chance to watch them. So
yes,
it's one of those that you play, but we have, there's beautiful sunsets, sunrises. It's just fun getting together, getting to know each other more. That's what we're here for. And it doesn't matter what, even for vacations, people have a hard time taking. Be sure to go take a vacation, spend time. And your vacation could be coming up here and spending time with us, because no matter what you look in life, there's always something going on, always something happening, always somebody who needs you or wants you to do this. But you need to take care of yourself first. And if you can come back relaxed and learn some new techniques for anxiety and stress, relaxing, de-stressing, using art for healing, which Karin's going to be teaching here shortly, it's going to be great. So we hope you do join us. So right now, if you have not signed up for the VIP, be sure you do because it's not going to be on here. We are going to have a separate Zoom class. And of course, we are recording it for those who purchase it so they can watch it even later at later times and have friends over if they want and do the class that way. But we hope you go and sign up right now because we are so excited for Karin to teach us her watercolor.
And Karin, I have my pad with white blank pages, right? For the skies, I have watercolor and the paint brushes and water to wipe clean the paintbrushes. Anything else our audience needs to be aware of that we need to bring for the VIP session?
Well, thanks for asking. I do like to keep it simple. I believe in the KISS theory, keep it simple, sweetheart. And so, yes, paper with a little bit of a tape it down and some kind of firm backboard. You only need a few brushes, but actually, since we're doing some washy sky brushes, if you have something a little bigger, like see this kind of brush, like this, a little larger brush, maybe that would be a good thing to have. Yep, like you have. Water and a few paints, blues and greens and some yellows, you know, the primary colors maybe, and we're good to go.
That's
you know,
so
bowl of
exciting.
water and some paper towels.
Okay, so that starts what, in like 30 minutes or so?
Yeah, 10:30. So 25 minutes. We will see everyone again. So thanks for being here. If you have any questions, be sure to ask them. And thanks for sharing. We love it when you guys share your photos of nature or walking or your art that you're doing. So, or whatever you're doing creative, right, Lori?
Yes.
So thanks for being here. And we are actually taking the next few weeks off after this class due to some vacations because we need to de-stress ourselves. So we will see you. Doesn't mean we won't have stuff here posted. So.
We will be wearing our other hats that we wear too. Okay. And it's always so good to sharpen our saw and do other things. But we love you.
Thanks.
And we'll see you soon.
All right. Bye.
We'll see you in a half hour. Okay. Are we tuned on?
All right.